in this segment.
I saw
Get
that in the
away,
top
get
left.
away from me.
All right, we are live. I am Mike Powers. This is Fox Sports Philadelphia. This is the Divide Live. Familiar face, Mikey Hughes is here with me, but not so familiar face. You might be familiar with his product, Robbie Little from SLIDEMVP, an awesome product that should be in everybody's agenda to get, especially with the warmer weather. Little League Baseball just kicked off. I literally just had my draft for my 9U team last night, for my daughter's softball team. And, we're looking, I was showing everybody the product. So, Robbie, thank you for joining us, brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Mike and Mike. This is great.
So a little bit about us. Mike, as you know, is from Chicago. I'm from originally Brooklyn, but I work in Philadelphia for Fox Sports Radio and iHeartMedia. Yeah, man, we got served your content, and we're like, this is freaking awesome. So tell the journey. Like, obviously, you shared a little bit that you have some connections in baseball in general, but share the product journey for us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, first off, I'm a Boston guy, so I grew up in the Boston area because I know we got the Mets and the Yankees in the house, and now the Cubbies, right? Chicago. So, but yeah, my background was I was coaching my 8U Suns team. One of the coaches asked a question like, "How do we learn how to slide?" And they asked me, and I didn't know, so I went online and saw people use cardboard. I found a few steps and brought it to practice, and the kids just had a blast, and they learned really quickly. So when I saw those two things, I was like, man, I should probably go down this rabbit hole. And for a good month, I tested out 30 different materials. I was testing out tarps. I was testing out like gardening apparatuses that you use. And I finally found it because I needed something that was made for coaches. Us coaches are the ones who have to take things to and from the field. So I needed something lightweight and that could roll. And I found it. And yeah, we launched it December 17th of 2024.
Congrats, man. No, it's a really cool design, really cool concept. I remember two ways that I learned how to slide, and Mike, you could tell me if I'm wrong. A slip and slide, like in the backyard, I would use that to always perfect my craft. But then also like giant couch cushions, like in my basement, I would use like the sectional and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mike, how did you learn how to slide? Do you remember?
I mean, like, and this is my jam, bro. Like, I was telling Robbie behind the scenes, like, I was good for maybe one home run a year in high school, and it was probably inside the Parker. Like, it was not. I was not that guy that just had the pleasure of rounding the bases after one swing. So sliding and stealing bags, like, that was my jam. And I think for me, and it's kind of funny now looking back on it, but it's kind of sad at the same time. We didn't have a baseball field near my house. We called it the Blacktop, which was this concrete black, like, cement parking lot right in the back of my middle school. And we'd all play baseball there. We'd use shoes for bases or whatever we had, like, lying around somebody's hat. We'd all pick, like, who had the worst hat, and we'd use it for, like, home plate. And I think the best way I learned how to slide was just trying not to, like, burn the skin off of me from the concrete. So I'm like, you kind of had to learn how to slide, otherwise it was just
more morbid.
Yeah, it wasn't as sweet as I was in my pappy's kitchen, and we were using these couch cushions. Like, no, we were outside on a 90-degree day on concrete, and if you wanted to steal a base, you better did it right. So that was our first way of doing it. But also Joe Mack, who does amazing things for the Warriors organization in Chicago, definitely preached like, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. And if it looks wrong, we're going to call you out on it. And I'm not going to say any names, but I still remember junior year, a kid who never played baseball a day in his life ended up making the team. He was a morale guy, great human. Shout out my guy, Brian. I'm not going to say his last name, but Brian was a great guy. But he got a concussion because he didn't have a single hit all year, man. He hits a ball, he hits a blooper to second base. Second baseman's about to make the play. And I thought he was sliding at first because I only caught it. I was in the dugout. I only caught it out the corner of my eye. But next thing I know, this guy's going face first in the home base, and he gets a concussion because he hits his head on the bag. And it was like, I was just like looking at him. First, we don't slide in the first. That was the first thing. And Brian didn't know that because he was new to the game. But he definitely could have used SLIDEMVP because that man
Yeah, you run through that.
we talked about that for a long time. It's been what, almost 10 years, and I'm still talking about it. So
that's funny. Robbie, I want to get into like how you went from, prototype to, being able to sell this to the masses. Like, what was that journey like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I refer to it as like the boring part of getting a business set up because, you have to, there's so many things that could go wrong when launching a product. So the first thing we did was we hired a patent attorney to run a prior art search. And all that does is searches all the different patents that are in existence in the US. And we wanted to make sure we weren't infringing on any existing patents because it would be nothing worse to do it all this work, launching it, and then getting a cease and desist from somebody being like, yeah, you can't do that. So we did that. We found we weren't infringing. Then we had to work with lawyers, which are the best. Love to all my lawyers friends out there. On warning labels, caution labels, getting your insurance, doing all like the defense. You're setting your defense, so that way when you're ready to put this into the wilds, you're ready to just go. So we had to do a lot of that. But while I was doing that, I did a lot of testing with local teams. There was a team over here in Royal Palm, softball team, and they would have me come out and do clinics. And that's actually where my sliding clinics were born. Through that, just testing, like teaching 20, 30 kids at once and seeing how successful it was, it's kind of turned into its own thing. So it was a boring journey, no income coming in. So you never know what you're doing here. But I had belief. I knew there was a need. I just didn't anticipate how quickly people were ready for it.
Now, behind the scenes, we were talking about it, if you feel comfortable talking about it, because I think this is like the funniest part of like when people tell me they started their businesses. Like I know my buddy, won't name names. I know my buddy who started a burger joint used to just buy the burgers like pre-made from a grocery store and then just make them in his spot before he could afford to like get his own stuff. To start this off, man, where did you get the materials to be able to start making these prototypes? Like, where was your spot where you started realizing I could find all this stuff here?
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic question. So anytime someone approaches you with a product, the first thing I tell them is it's in your head, just start making something. So I would use cardboard because cardboard is where we started. So I would go to Costco. Costco has fantastic pallet dividers and they're free. So I'd walk in and leave with like 37 of these things, and employees are like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, it's free, right? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'd leave and then I cut these into sections, right? Because I was tinkering with, can I roll something or can I fold it? Because it's all about the ability to easily transport this to and from. And I started duct taping them together and around. So cardboard is where we started. And then I just through a lot of reaching out to manufacturers, as you start to research the materials you're trying to get into, plastics, right? You just start reaching out. We did everything here in the US, so I reached out to a ton, and we had one who got back to me. Turns out he was a former D1 baseball player, knew what we were up to, and the rest is kind of history, and being like, hey, I think I got something that might work for you, so we're going to send it your way. And I was like, all right.
That's awesome. What can the customer expect when they purchase from SLIDEMVP? From unboxing all the way to use for the everyday.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So what you're going to get with your box is you're going to get your slide. You're going to get a bag. That way it makes it a lot easier to carry to and from. We now have a strap in there, so that way you can roll it a little tighter if you want, so it's not as big in the bag. There's a manual. So we worked really hard on just a 2-page bifold. It's heavy duty, so it's not gonna, if it gets wet, it's not gonna disintegrate. But basically we go through the 4 steps. So there's 4 steps when it comes to your feet first slide. And then on the back, there's a progression. And that's really where the magic in all this happens. Like the mat is a tool that allows for players to practice over and over again. But it's really in teaching them the 4 steps and then doing this progression. The progression starts them from standing and dropping into their slide. Then we walk to the mat, then we jog to the mat, and we eventually build up. So by the time they're ready to sprint and do their first slide, they've done this, the feet first, dropping into it about 50, 60 times. So all of the overthinking of am I going to do this right, has gone away because now you're building muscle memory. And when they go to slide, they're able to do it. So that's what you get in the box. And the other piece too is things will happen. So it's a new tool for everyone. And if accidents do happen, a kid plows into it, a knee goes into the mat as opposed to you sliding on your butt. I just tell folks, reach out, I replace it. Because at the end of the day, I want teams to make sure they have the tool because I know how well it works and what it can do for players' confidence. And yeah, if you follow that, if you follow the manual, you're in really good hands. It's the folks that just kind of go off and do their own thing.
I was chuckling earlier because I had the reverse thing happen to me. My daughter, after I was teaching her how to slide, I don't think she trusted me too much. So I see her on her tablet YouTubing how to slide, and she's like, "Daddy, you taught me exactly how this man said." I was like, one, I'm offended, but two, like, you know, so, but like I said, it kind of got me to reach out to you and say, like, this is an awesome product. And it just got even cooler. Less than 2 days ago, you announced a partnership with the only Jose Reyes. How did that happen? Especially like now knowing you're from Boston and,
yes, right. So we were introduced to Jose, honestly through DMs on Instagram. That's how we started, and we kicked off a conversation, and we jumped on a couple WhatsApp calls, and the big thing is like Jose is great. I mean, he's more than great. Like, he's fantastic, and getting to jump on a call with him, like, you really get to see how great of a human he is, and like how much energy and how fun he was. So it actually felt even more natural, right? Like, yes, he was electric on the base pass, but when you don't know some of these guys, you're just like, is this going to work? Is this going to be awkward? And he made it just like we've been friends or we've known each other for 10 plus years. It's wild how he has that ability to do that. So we got together and we were talking this through, and we worked on getting a Llama Lassa line for him and designed some mats. And then we held our photo shoot not too long ago. And that was so cool, man. I have so many fun videos. I'm going to post some behind the scenes content of it because I think you really get to see who he is as a person, right? Like, he had more energy than the kids themselves. Like, this guy, I was like, he was awesome. Like, he made that photo shoot just so incredible for everyone. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And cool, mind you, this is a guy that stole 78 stolen bases in a single season. So like, right. I also want to ask you, not from a business perspective, Mr. CEO, the founder, just from a fan perspective, like, to have a guy that you've watched as long as you have and kind of admired now be a part of exactly what you've created was his specialty. Like, how cool is that for you? And did you fan out just a little bit seeing him, kind of participate in this?
Yeah, I mean, I had my moments. I kept them to myself of like, this is really happening right now. But I was like, all right, just keep it, no autographs, just let's, but you're totally right. When you watched Jose coming up and playing, like, man, so electric. And he was ahead of his time in a way, right?
Right.
With the flair and the way he played, compared that to today's game. So, it's crazy because I think a lot of these kids, they know the current stars, but they didn't see Jose. So I hope to help bring some of that back to see how, like you said, 78 stolen bases. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah. I mean, he loved the game. He played right. Actually played right next to right. But, when we lost him, and I say we, the Mets fan base, like, it was devastating when he went to Florida and Miami. And, when he came back, it was great. Like, it just felt like, man, we missed all those years. And now, sadly, the Met fan base is seeing that with Pete Alonso going over to Baltimore, right? So it just seems like it happens a lot. We get these homegrown guys, and unfortunately, we can't hold on to them. But Jose, man, that was electricity, man. Like, I remember, Terry Collins crying because Jose won the batting title, right? And this is like one of his first years there and all this other stuff. And it just, he was a very, very impactful player. And, that was an end of an era when he retired and David Wright retired for the Mets. But yeah, on the base paths, man, like if he got to first, he was scoring. Like it was like almost a guarantee. If he got on base to lead off, he was scoring. He was coming around. And to get a run in the first inning, you're putting your team and your pitchers like on your back. So, but you're right too. Like a lot of his flair and a lot of his stuff was considered at the time disrespectful. So teams would love to just beat up on the Mets for whatever reason, and it was a little stressful, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like it was very, very stressful because it was exciting to see him on the field, and it was just like now that everybody's that way, right? Yeah. Like not 100%. Doesn't have as much energy as Jose. I got to see Jose when we did our they did like their Hall of Fame game, and everybody comes back. Yep. And he was up in the booth, and everybody's like handing him baseballs and stuff to sign. He's signing them all. He's signing every single one of them. It was awesome. And then he looks at me. He's like, "Do you want something?" I was like, "No, man, I'm just here. Like, appreciate you." He's like, "You want a fist bump?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" Like, so I gave him a little fist bump. But he's just that kind of guy. He's an awesome person, and he's just always smiling. So it was pretty cool.
That's crazy though when we really talk about it though. Like guys who kind of didn't get the love they deserved back then for whatever, and I always call it the old man reasons. You know what I mean? It's like it's the guys who say, well, back in my day, we wouldn't have did this. And now Max Clark, who is probably less than 21 years old, has 10 chains on the field in a spring training game. And like our guy Sheffield Shuffler did an amazing video the other day talking about double down on it, like be the villain. And like the fact that that's embraced nowadays, I love it. And it's something that I feel like it's kind of just let the kids be kids. You know what I mean? Like when Mike Trout and everybody started to let the kids play just a few years ago. I think it kind of was that switch to where it was like the players are now saying like, man, you're coming to see us. You know what I mean? And Jose will be one of those guys forever that like, yeah, maybe the rest of the league doesn't have Jose Reyes stories, but every team he played for, I promise you would be able to talk about the impact that he made. Guys like that who kind of just, like you said, put the team on their back early in a game every single day. I mean, that's irreplaceable.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. Robby, what's next for Slide MVP? Is there anything in store? Like, I mean, it's hard to say that when the season's opening right now. You just did an awesome photo shoot with Jose Reyes, but are there any other? You mentioned slide clinics. Is that going to be like? Could people become certified MVP sliders? Is that anything?
Yeah, so we're definitely gonna look at adding a few more folks because it's just me. So I jump on planes. I was actually and here's a funny story. I was just in Manhattan Beach, and you just mentioned a player whose daughter plays in the league, and I actually just taught her and her teammates how to slide, David Wright. So he wasn't there at the clinic, but he coaches softball, 8U out there in LA. So I was like, this is just such a small world. Getting to meet these folks. But yeah, we have some really fun things happening where, we just moved into a warehouse. So we have more inventory, the ability to just continue to get mats out. One of the things I heard all last year was you're sold out. And I get killed for it. And I was like, well, we're in year one, doing it out of my garage, doing the best I can. So, but we have longer mats now. So we have a size that's even better, more length and width. And I have one additional size that I don't sell to the public yet. It's reserved for major league teams. So we work with about 14 to 15 teams right now who use these all across the organization. So whether it's dive backs, it's working with catchers on pass ball retrieval. We're now starting to see some outfielder coaches using it for sliding and diving catches and so forth. And then, just your basic sliding, right? Just like continuing to work on form. So but we do have it with a few different sports. That's where it's getting interesting. So cricket's the interesting one for me. So we have it over in the UK. I have it with about like 4 or 5 professional teams, and they're using it, right? So, anytime someone's like, hey, could this be used for it? I'll send you a mat, and if you give me feedback, like, hey, it's all about learning, right? Because it was intended for baseball and softball, but if it's going to point us in other directions, like you got to kind of, scratch that itch and, see if there's something there.
Yeah, I was just starting to think like FIFA World Cup is on its way, and like when they do that slide after they hit the goal, and it feels like they just go on forever. I was like, oh man, they got to learn like their celebration slides through SLIDEMVP would be tremendous. I might use that with ours.
Well, it's funny you say that because it's like there's one of the banana ball teams, the Coconuts. They use it for. We built them custom ones, and they use it with some of their players like as an intro. So they slide on down, and then I can't disclose the studio, but it's on a movie set because they have to practice some type of slide. So they were like, my name got brought up, and we got them some of our larger mats to do that. So they're using that to train their actors or stunt doubles. Yeah, so it's like it's weird how some of this, and even paintball. Paintball was another one. Someone reached out and was like, "Hey, we slide in paintball. Could we try this out?" And I'm like, "Sure. All right, cool."
My other co-host is a pro wrestler, Zach Clayton. I got to ask him if he has any use for it in the ring. That'd be pretty
hilarious.
Cool. He's a big guy, though. I don't know if he would be as agile as like Jose Reyes.
Hey, worth a shot. Worth a shot.
It is. It definitely is, man. No, this is so cool. I could talk to you forever about this. I definitely started showing it to our travel team. I'm friends. I actually raised money with Todd Frazier for the Children's Specialized Hospital. I'm on his board we do a Pong event. No beer in the cups because that's weird now. Like, I can't believe we used to do that as kids. Like actually drink out of those disgusting cups. But, we've raised over 6 figures together with that. And I know Blake and all of his kids are playing right now. And he's got, Mikey, you'll love his team name is the Southsiders because he played for the White Sox. And he's from Toms River South. So he calls it the Southsiders. But
North side's the best side, Mike. I did not love that. Did not love that at all.
I knew. Well, either way, at least it's close. A lot closer than Queens. Yeah, Robbie, this has been awesome, man. Please, everybody, check out SLIDEMVP.com. Rob, what are your social handles? Is it just SLIDEMVP or is it?
Everything's just SLIDEMVP. That was another thing. I got ahead of it too. I was like, make this simple. So SLIDEMVP.
Yeah, like I told Mike all the time, my handle is theshy.kid, but there is somebody out there who has the shy kid, and he has 0 followers, and like I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just wanted it so bad. So you're definitely blessed with that because that's something that to this day still bothers me that it's the dot kid.
I know. You want it to be clean. You just want
it to flow.
That's right.
Like,
Yeah, we have a coffee company called Fast Break Coffee, and we tried to get the handle for that, and somebody's sitting on it, and they wanted 6 figures for it. I was like, "Yo, man, we're not going out of business before we even sell our first coffee bean." We just did like a Fast Break _ and like just over with it. We always thought like we love coffee, but we always thought like, hey, it's kind of cool because it's fast break, so there's a sports element to it, but then also it's the reverse of breakfast. So like it was just I don't know. There was a lot of synergy. We love it. We sell a lot of it wholesale. But yeah, Robbie, thank you so much for your time, man. We're gonna continue connecting with you. And parents out there, like your kids need to learn how to slide. I know we got over a foot of snow still outside, but indoor rec is starting. Like I said, my daughter just had her evals and all that other stuff. We just picked our team for a RecU, and her travel team's been playing all winter long. So please check out SLIDEMVP. Make your kid into a SLIDEMVP. Robbie, thank you so much, man.
All right, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on.
Of course.